All right, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, January 8th. Quick reminder that the market is closed tomorrow. For today, we're going to be looking at the reaction on NASDAQ at 21,300 and that prior day low. This is the primary area that I'm interested in seeing how price responds. We can see that push just beneath the prior day low so far this morning. Quick reclaim. We did have some economic data prints this morning that are now behind us. We do not have any 10 a.m. prints today. All we have is FOMC minutes. So 2 p.m. Typically, that's not a big market moving event, but we definitely may see a little increase of activity and volume at that time. So I'll definitely be looking at that 2 p.m. action as well as into the close, depending on where price is located at that time. For this morning, essentially what we want to be doing here is looking to see if sellers can show any continuation, any follow through of yesterday's sell off. Now, when we zoom out, we can see that the structure, largely speaking, is still neutral despite yesterday's sell, right? So we had that little bit of a change in character on the near term on Friday. That pushed the structure back into neutral from bearish. Never flipped bullish. We needed to see a push up through Monday's high for that to actually transpire. Yesterday, you get the sell off, and we're just right back into last week's range. So you can see price is just shy of last week's volume point of control, just as a reference point there on the 15-minute chart. Again, like I said, what I'm going to be focused on is whether or not buyers can continue to hold 21,300 and then that prior day low. Those are pretty much, we can call those nearly one and the same. I mean, they're within 20 points of each other. Now, if buyers are successful in doing that, what we want to do is get a look at where our fib retracements are for the prior day move. You've got the 50% fib, which the 50 and 61 are the areas I'm personally most interested in. You've got those levels up near 21,550. That's already a level of interest. So if we do see those lows from yesterday holding as support, we may see some partial retracement. 430 is going to be that kind of first stopping point where sellers may reload. You've got the prior day volume point of control there as well. You've got some structure through this area as well as a 38% fib. And then 550 is going to be the big one if price does get up into there. Now, on the flip side, we've got to look at both sides here, considering the backdrop is neutral. If we do see that weakness down through prior day low, down beneath 21,300, there is a little unfilled gap right through here, right? Regular trading hours gap. That closes at 21,200. The major support down beneath yesterday's low is really just the 21K. If we start to see some weakness down beneath yesterday's low, down beneath that overnight low, most likely I'm just going to be hands off to wait for some 30-minute or higher time frame reversal or a test down into 21K. I'm not going to be all that interested in this area at 21,100. It's definitely still a level of interest, but at that point, I may as well just wait for the edge points again, unless we see some type of 30-minute or hourly reversal signal. So that's the focus here this morning. We've got about 10 seconds till the open. So let's see how we open up. Price is right here, 21,360. Let's take a look. Let's see what we're working with. So right here, session volume point of control, VWAP right through there as well. Got kind of the structure that is set up prior to the bell here. And then of course we want to take a look at that prior day structure, regular trading hours chart, 5-minute. So a slight gap lower, very small gap lower. Letting that structure build, let it build, let it build. Got my alert set and chilling. Yep. Love that. Yeah, some people, some traders can't resist slapping the open, Dom. Just can't resist it. I've definitely been there. I have definitely been there. I know what that's like. Yeah, the open can slap back. That's the thing about the open. Sometimes you want to slap the open just slaps you right back. Remember, as always, following any trend day move, following any expansion move, it's not uncommon to see a little compression. So it's something we need to keep in mind as well. There's definitely a time and place for trading the open. Time and place. First 5-minute bar getting ready to close here. NQ technically with a fresh session high. I want to see this pre-market structure break. This little kind of mini structure right here. See what our other indices are doing. YM absolutely puking into that overnight low. No movement in ES. And Russell, not much going on there either. YM definitely moving though. If you like trading the Dow, send a prior day low right now. More of an NQ guy myself. So that very small overnight gap lower has been closed. Not a true gap. Any gap within the prior day range is not a true gap. $400 was definitely significant from yesterday's session. You can see those two bounce points there. What psychological levels usually are. NASDAQ right back into the lows here. So we're still just kind of ping-ponging in this little pre-market structure. See if the lows get taken out. There's your new low of day. So we're looking at the reaction here. Like I mentioned, 21,300 as well as that prior day low. Love that, Dom. If you want to simplify your trading, ask yourself what and where the location is and then who is in control. That's perfect. NQ testing 21,300. See how buyers respond here, if at all. If at all. And if not, we're looking at that prior day low, 21,279, basically 21,280. So a little bounce there into session volume point of control. Which is currently at 340. A lot of volume there. 340. Then you've got VWAP at 351. All right, coming into VWAP. Decent little push there. There's VWAP. So we're 50 points from our level. Not bad. Can buyers break through this little bit of resistance here? Session volume point of control and VWAP. Christopher's already long. There we go. See if this area can hold now. A little micro higher low. Session high is, what is that, 385? The buyer's trying to break up through this kind of congestion area here, if you will. See if we could get price into this zone here. It's 380. Yeah, a lot of congestion right in there. VWAP, session volume point of control, series of lower highs here on that kind of mini structure prior to the bell. Back into 300. So I already gave it a couple of attempts. Probably won't try this third one. Gonna let it go. I want to see the structure resolve before I get involved again. Decent little action there versus 300. Got the low at 300, then the little micro higher low. The more times a level is tested, the more likely it's going to break. So I like first, second attempt, third, fourth, beyond that. That's for someone else. That's not for me. Des, you got the short at VWAP there? Into 300. It's a nice 50 pointer. Nicely done. Still pretty much within the first 5 minute opening bar here. There's a little push right there. Some volume coming in as well. I like to see that break of 380. So far, we know the 300 level of interest and prior day low is holding. Is that main focus area. But buyers really need a push up through this. I'm currently cash after those couple of attempts at 300. The NQ, there's your test of that 380 area. Sellers step in there again. It's your 15-minute. See if this area can break. So structure has yet to resolve. Sellers step in there again at 380. Pretty choppy so far. We have an 80-point range. Back into 300. Here's that fourth test of 300. There's technically a new low of day. Is it? Yeah. Got a new low of day there by 2 or 3 points. Prior day low just beneath. 279 is your prior day low. Wow, it's already 5 till 10. Nice little bounce there. See if it has any follow through. A little spring setup. I actually meant to be a buyer there, but I was a little too slow. A little too slow. Call that the stream tax. Man, it's the stream tax, Christopher. You gotta pay the stream tax. That long 941. Let's see. 941. So I'll just show you my executions right here. There it is. So we did the initial low at 300 and then trailed and then right back in once that signal bar set up there. I wanted to push more immediately into 380. So I trailed that one as well. And then the third attempt gives the push into 380. Like I said earlier, third and fourth attempt, I'm typically going to pass on. This fourth one, technically a little different because it does make a new low of day. So that's an updated context on the intraday structure. So I do like these sorts of setups as a little spring type play. Right through here, enter above 300. Probably want to reduce into these areas and you try and take it for 380. If not, you definitely trail tight. So if you ended up catching that, you probably want to trim some off. Nice spring. Love a good spring with a level of interest and some intraday structure. That's a good example right there. Why you don't short a new low of day. Probably going to get caught, right? So far, there's just absolute chop. 80-point range. 80-point range. Yeah, so this bounce from 300 rolling over at VWAP again, right? There's just a lot of congestion through here. We are still within this pre-market structure. So like I said a few times now, my preference is for price to leave this structure. I mean, just look at our 5-minute. Look at that. There's no direction here, right? So a lot of reasons to be doing less, essentially, is the point. Yeah, Timmy, this action can do that, definitely. If you just sit there fighting the chop, it's going to be a bad time. It's going to be a bad time. So we got 10 a.m. here in 30 seconds. Coming back into 380. Ping pong. And Q back near the highs, back near that 380 area. Yeah, clearing that 390 area is ideal situation at this point. A new high of day, a new sustained high. There you go. NQ, new high. So let's see if there's acceptance. Just meaning the highs hold. So far it looks like yes. We got 430 overhead. Upside level of interest. Wow, nice, Dom. Oh, you weren't in there. Damn. Did anyone get that spring, I wonder? Hopefully Mish was in there. Christopher Strong, nice. There we go. Dave caught some of it. There we go. Nice. Rich got in there. Solid. Solid. Yeah, it's been my favorite trade so far this morning. Nice, Strong. Have a good day, man. Favorite trade is the one you make money on? Not me. Not me. I have trades I make money on that I absolutely hate. Like the easy ones. Those are my favorite. Easy plays. Easy money. So seller stepping in there at 400. NQ for me, there's no man's land. So staying patient here. Low expectations for today. So far, we are seeing that compression, which is pretty typical following a big expansion day like we saw yesterday. NQ, a little pullback here into VWAP, session volume point of control. I wouldn't put much emphasis on VWAP given the current action. It's pretty choppy. Looking for fib buy zone here. Personally, no. No fibs on my screen at this time. Current action is not all that compelling, so I'm not looking for reasons to take an entry. I'm looking for reasons to not trade. So my main watch here is for price to leave this pre-market structure, and it's still here. You got a blip above. We talked about seeing a break of 380, 390 with acceptance. This is not acceptance. It's just a failure. Failed breakout. Up thrust. So this may be a wait for the afternoon sesh kind of day. See how this continues to develop. But I mean, when we look at the structure here, even before the bell, we're talking about this kind of range. And again, price is yet to leave. Just look at your 5-minute, right? When in doubt, zoom out. What does your 5-minute show? Yeah, choppy, choppy, choppy. Exactly. Chop, chop, chop. Right back into 300. There's your 300 level of interest. See how it's treated. This is what, the 5th or 6th test of your 300? Something like that. So far we just have a range day, 80-point range day. You do have an uptick in volume there. Timmy's touching grass. There is not, I don't think there is a single blade of grass in all of Canada right now. Send me a picture if there is. I don't believe it. NQ, new low of day. There's your prior day low being tested. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what that's what I thought. So let's see if buyers have any interest in this area again. So far, it looks like no. I'll be keeping an eye on that 1 minute. There's your new low. New low. So if we see acceptance here beneath prior day low, look for that overnight low as a reference point. Not to set risk against necessarily, but more so as a target. And then down into 21,200. There's a good visual right there. Good visual. Wow, already not far off of that overnight low. Overnight low, 21,221. So scenarios like this, I'm not interested in setting risk against overnight low. Just use it as a reference point. I'll be looking at 21,200 or a reclaim of the prior day low 21,300 area. Got the market moving again here. That range we were discussing is breaking down. And some of you may have jumped in a little bit late, so I'll reiterate. If we do see that overnight low fail and your 21,200 big failure, it's pretty much going to be hands off for me until 21K or some 30-minute or hourly reversal. No interest in trying to catch a falling knife. No update on my morning. A couple of longs versus 300. I did want that spring trade that a number of you were in. But it was just a second too late. And I don't chase anything, so that's what I call the stream tax. Just let that one go. Wait for the next play. I was looking at that undercut of the prior day low here that attempted to reclaim, but if you see that signal bar there, even on the 15-second, doesn't show any confirmation. So I had some orders sitting there, but did not fill. So at this point, what I want to see is either scenario like this, like an entry through there, or something down here. See how it kind of builds down here. Otherwise, just waiting, staying patient. There's a retest of your prior day low. So do sellers reload in this area or do we have a reclaim? It's like Russell's making a fresh session low. ES, fresh session low there. YM right near the prior day low. Good rejection at VWAP and YM. All right, there's 300, 21,300. Prior day low reclaim. So this is kind of the tricky spot here between prior day low and the level of interest. So far, sellers reloading at that 21,300. Support becomes resistance. Or getting right back into the lows. So if you jumped into that short, make sure you manage your trade accordingly. Yeah, Timmy, those initial 300 longs, pretty good. And then the spring, and now the 300 rejection with the benefit of the prior day low there. A couple of decent plays using the level of interest. That short is almost into target if you got in there. So buyers trying to force a higher low here. They want a reclaim of 300. There we go, back up and through 300. Overnight low, not even truly tested. Not even a true test of the overnight low. It's noteworthy. Looking at the reaction here, still in that 300 level of interest and prior day low zone. $15-minute candle closes in 3 minutes. There's 300 now holding. Little micro retest there, now holding. Did not see an entry I love there personally. Getting back into that prior day low here. Tricky conditions. Yeah, I agree. 100%. 100%. Better to be a little more patient in these conditions rather than be a gunslinger, in my opinion. Personally. There's your prior day low. Pretty limited buying interest so far. Let's see how this 1 minute closes. If they can force another higher low, maybe a reclaim of 300, that would be significant. At least for that intraday structure here. 15-minute just closed up. Got a new 30-minute bar starting right now. The buyers are looking for that acceptance above 300. Sellers just reload there, back into that prior day low. So again, a prior day low fails. You've got session low down there, and then the overnight low as a couple of reference points. Session low is always going to be a reference point. Overnight low in this context, reference point. For me, that means not necessarily areas to set risk against, but still notable nonetheless. That 280 holding again. That's your prior day low. Just kind of stuck here. Stuck here in that zone. Prior day low 300. And sellers just reload at 300. Volume kind of tapering down a bit, right? It's still above minimum threshold, but compared to what we saw this morning, tapering down. Don't forget, market is closed tomorrow, and we do have FOMC minutes this afternoon, 2 p.m., I believe. Should be 2 p.m. Should be 2 p.m. Buyers giving another push. And we're back into session volume, point of control, and VWAP. A pretty nice bar right there. Love those sorts of candles. Do sellers just reload, or do we see a retest of the session high? That's the question now. That is the question now. Just bumping into that session volume, point of control, and VWAP area. That's basically 340. 340. Nice, another little push there. Not bad. So again, that 380, 390 area is the level to break here. Just based on that near-term structure. Anyone in that higher low from prior day lower 300? That was a little messy. A little bit of a messy setup. But a nice push nonetheless. That 21,300's been solid for today. Gotta love levels of interest. Gotta love it. So NQ gets into that intraday resistance zone. Sellers attempt to get in there. Almost 90 minutes into the sesh. How's the morning, folks? Staying alive? Staying alive in the chop? How we doing? How are we doing? All my trades were versus that 300 level of interest, prior day low. There's the visual. Should be about 100 or 110 points on the day. 3 for 3. Personally, I missed the best trade of the day so far, anyway, which in my opinion was the spring. Cash day, all chopped up. That's not good. That's not good. Anytime we have those big trend day moves like yesterday, the following day is typically choppier. So you can use that to your advantage just to know and kind of set the expectations when you come into the sesh. It's going to be a little bit slower, probably a little bit choppier. So you want to manage trades according to that, what your expectations are for the day. That's why I spend so much time just talking about chop and conditions, environment. It's so important. So you could have a really good strategy, but every strategy only works so well based on current conditions and backdrop. That's one unlock that took me a very, very, very long time to realize. It's like you have something that works for months and months and then it stops. It's like, what happened? And you may have entered like a bear market, or you may have entered like a range market and not even been aware of it. Rich, green, staying alive, nice. Maureen, lunch money secured. There we go. Dave, 2 for 2. Solid. So volume's really tapering down here. We did have that nice uptick on that monster candle, but just right back down. So I'll keep an eye on this 21,300 prior day low area, but I'm cautious with it if price fails to make a fresh high or a fresh low. It's possible that it just settles into tighter churn right in this area, and those are situations I don't want to find myself in personally. So most likely just going to call it a morning until FOMC minutes. My main preference would be for price to just leave this area, right? Either crack the overnight low and show us a flush, or bust up through 21,400. If neither of those happen, then more proof it's going to be a tighter range day. Yeah, Dom, I got that. We got that, Dom. Secured. I front loaded the unload there because I didn't love the action. I was a little early with it. So I front loaded the exit. So it was good for points, but lighter on profits. It's risk reduction. So another thing in trading is you have the benefit of gathering new information with every minute. The thing about trading is it's not like a typical bet where you place a bet and you can't really modify, can't make any changes, right? Once you have new information. To an extent. I mean, in some games you can increase bet size. But with trading, we can reduce risk based on what we're seeing and whether or not it helps our thesis or takes away from it. Yes, sir. All about the setup. All about that setup. Yeah, long game is the game to play. It's all about the next 1,000 trades, not the trade you had today or anything like that. Does what you're doing translate to being positive over the next 1,000 trades? All right, back into that 300 prior day low zone. We've got our first volume print below minimum threshold. Take a look at that just a minute ago. So I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Pretty choppy morning. I feel like we made the most of it with that 300 and prior day low zone as the primary watch. But nonetheless, quite choppy. So like I said, into FOMC minutes. I'll see if volume improves, but otherwise it's likely just going to be a cash day for the remainder. Trying to keep those expectations in check. So I hope you guys had a good one. If you have questions, feel free to reach out in the Traders Think Tank. Thank you for your time this morning. Thanks for jumping into the stream. Remember, the market's closed tomorrow, so enjoy the day off, and we'll see you Friday. Take care.